No. No. Put it on the news. Hey, Sacco, how are you? I'm okay. I'm trying to do a portrait. Hello. Hi. Fine. They just started here, so they were waiting for a trailer to pick up the debris, and I have no idea. I don't know. I saw it out there with the other carpeting, but I no no. Um, okay. Um, so I talked to who's the guy that's in charge? Anthony. I talked to Anthony, and I said, "So are you going to work on chopping down the wall now?" And he said he um, he didn't think he had to do it in the studio. They can get it from the other side. They can get it from my bedroom to dry it out. So it seems like they won't be harming the studio wall at all. Well, it seems to me that they could have just, rather than cutting along, anyway, it's already been done, so it doesn't make any difference. Too late now. But it's like for the walls that are under the stairs, those can all be got from the inside too, because they're no. It's just the. But anyway, I'm not getting involved. So. Well, they haven't. They did cut some parts of it, yeah. But they're down there I think they're taking the bookshelf off outside my room. So, but I'm not involved. I'm letting them do what they have to do. Okay, so I'll go out and take a picture of the rug if it's still there and not in the truck. Yeah, I know that. I know. Okay, bye. Bye. Saka will be right back. Okay, I have returned. I'm okay. I'm doing a portrait of the ninja, meaning, of course, the youngest Schiavello. Trying to, anyway, from a picture that is not entirely perfect for this purpose, but I'm trying. Square-jawed boy. That he is. I won't show it to anyone. This is a private commission. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Zoom for your for calligraphy. Square jaws are an interesting thing. Jar-headedness too, I guess, for that matter. Back to the dimple, dimple, nostril. Make the whole thing darker. Dimple, dimple. Sounds like we have a dentist in the basement. Yeah, it does sound like that. My brother loves those model radio control model airplanes, and he is also sort of a pyromaniac, and he was able to do both at once at one point with a plane that was no longer functioning for his purposes. He decided he was going to destroy it in a dramatic live explosion sort of a thing. So he was at work in the parking lot at work, and he ended up calling his buddies out from work, who also were, if they weren't pyromaniacs, they should have been, because they were all, you know, children at heart. Okay, I'm making this guy too skinny. So let's fix that. Better. Anyway, where was I? So he brought out his airplane to the parking lot and told all of his cohorts to come out to the parking lot to watch this thing, this exciting explosion. And he loaded, got the gas in the plane, charged up the battery, and then he put the explosives in the tank, in the thing, and the what do you call it, the fuse would go on when he made a left turn, and not before. So he knew he could only turn right when he got airborne. So that was the plan. So he ended up getting it ready to go, got everyone out there to watch, and then he lit the fuse, or I guess, no, he didn't light the fuse. That was the left turn. Anyway, he got it going, and he got it up high enough to light the fuse, and he looked down at his controls, and turned left or turned right, whatever he had to do, whatever direction it was. And he saw, when he was done making the turn on the controls, his eyes lit on the ground next to the gas and the battery were the pair of rubber bands that were supposed to be holding the wing on the plane. And he looked up, he said, "Oh shit." And he looked up and he saw the wing flutter off the plane, and the plane then on fire now, going straight down. There wasn't anything he could do except watch it as it crashed onto a roof of someone's house. So he ran over across the field to the house and knocked on the door and some nice Minnesotan lady answered the door, and he said, lady, do you have a ladder? Oh yeah, I think there's one in the garage. Why? And he didn't even wait for that. He just went to the garage, got got her ladder out, climbed up, got on the roof, put out the airplane, put the ladder back, and ran away. And so that was the end of his, well, I'm sure it wasn't the end of his pyromania, but that was the end of that airplane. And I think he maybe learned his lesson about radio controlled V2 bombs. So, anyway. I don't know what the AMA is, American Modelers Association. Okay. Okay, can I make this person look as handsome as the person actually is? Do you think that's at all possible, Pierre Gustafson? You think I'm able to actually manage to do this? Now you tell me. Now you tell me. Blue. Well, it is true. A portrait is a painting where something is always fucked up in the mouth. Okay, have fun back at work. Sorry, I'm trying to finish this thing here before I completely lose my train of thought. Bad glare. Did I glare with my eyes or did I glare with the... Yeah, this is a big house, and unfortunately, there's not that many places I can put this iPad and have it be close enough to my eyeballs. Yeah, Russell, would you like to join me?
Ehi, buonasera a
Hey,
tutti.
well, I'm
Nope.
buonasera
There
to
we
you
go.
too. To you too.
How's it been going up there?
Um, things are um, things are fine. How are you doing?
Um, I mean, I'm not doing too bad. I thought that I started editing my video around the end of the day, and I thought I might end up, taking some time at home to finish it up, but then I thought I could be doing puppets instead, so I think I'm doing puppets instead.
I think that sounds more fun.
Well, yeah, and it's sort of like, well, I can bring the computer to work uh and work on that during my lunch hour anyway.
Yeah,
So it's sort of like I can do that and I can do the video editing anywhere.
yeah,
Puppets are a bit harder to do up there.
yes. I see your birthday's in the desert, little
Mm.
James Ensori. Did you did you did you look at all at that Dan and Steve show? Did I send you that?
I don't think you did. I ended up ordering a copy of his sci-fi magazine.
Oh, nice, nice. I just sent you via Instagram um, the one episode in his Dan and Steve show that I remembered well, and you might enjoy it.
I'll have to take a look at it later.
No,
No, I was sort of listening on and off while I was dealing with emails and putting in applications and whatnot. Did I get something? Oh, yeah, there's your message now.
no. It's so I posted it also on my account with his permission, Ian's permission.
Yeah, I think I did see that while I was just scrolling down and hear about. But
Well, you should read it. It's pretty funny, I think.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure it's funny. I'm sorry. I'm just being hyper aware of my tone, my choice of words. Let's see. The eternal question, of course, is which silly fabric to use. Maybe you want to help me pick
Okay,
one out.
what silly fabrics do we
That. Oh,
what are our choices?
let me think. Would I be able to get two out of this one? Probably. So we have this pretty floral pattern and sort of like combined with this marbling stuff,
Yeah.
right? And it's got block on the inside already. this one I've been wanting to use for something for a good long while, but it is just the most wonderful thing in the world. It is a handkerchief with balloons, with Mongolfieri.
I
You
see.
see, hot air balloons.
I
It's
do
got
see.
hot air balloons all over it, which
That's
you don't know how stupidly happy that makes me.
um I I I can believe that it makes you stupidly happy. I'll put it that way.
This lovely fabric here, this blue and white with all
That's
sorts of and
that's so far that's my favorite. But what
okay.
animal is this going to go on?
It's not necessarily going to be an animal. I'm thinking of making a whole bunch of Burattini like Morris. The hand puppet.
Okay.
I'm thinking I'm making a whole bunch of those. Let me see what else I got here.
Well, if you want them to be related to one another, I think making them out of the largest piece of fabric you have would be good. If they don't have to be the same, then we don't have to make a choice. You just do them.
And they don't have to be all the same. Not in my book.
Okay.
Let me do one more. Okay. The only other one, and again, it's another one that I've wanted to use for a good long while. And this is a whole bunch of fabric, which is why I'm sort of hesitant to use it, but it's this striped fabric,
Mm-hmm.
which is it's wonderful if you pull it out. It has an effect on the eyes in person.
Yeah, I imagine it would be very zigzaggy and pop arty and cause people to go into epileptic seizures.
That's how it feels looking at it. And then no, that piece is too small. So those we'll say are our options.
Well, and how big are these going to be? Hand puppet size?
Yeah, they're just going to be like the size of my hand, literally.
Okay.
See,
I
that's the
think it might
template
be
I've got.
fun. I mean, I would think when I was doing my fish, it was fun seeing things that were almost faces, heads,
Mm-hmm.
in the patterns of the boxes. And I think you might, if you wanted to, the blue and white fabric might give you the way you cut it and sort of crop it, you might find yourself having hands and heads sort of automatically,
I see.
which maybe
You're
is
gonna go
too easy for you. But uh, the balloon one, because it's so
specific.
it's so busy, and I think that would be the hardest one to see.
To actually use. Yeah, it would
is-
make for a nice part of an outfit, but maybe not part of the body.
yeah. And then the other three, I think the zigzaggy one, that would certainly be the plainest, even though it's striped. But I think.
But I'll go with the blue for now.
Okay. I mean, you might want to do one. I like the idea of doing a striped one where one puppet is horizontal stripes and one puppet is vertical stripes, and see if they look skinnier when they're
That would be a lot. That would be a lot of fun, actually.
Yeah. The before and after pictures in the diet, going through the diet. But no, you're actually the same. It's an optical illusion.
Yes. It's all just it's all the slimming stripes, the power of fashion.
The people in the concentration camps weren't really that skinny. It's the stripes made.
Yeah, you were just looking. They just had the stripes on their outfits, so
yeah, they look so thin.
This whole thing got dark real quick, Pierre.
We are going to hell. and a handbasket.
We are, and I have just yesterday evening, I was listening to all the practices in Auschwitz. Like it was like a 20-minute video on all of the terrible things that happened there that an Italian person put up. So, I'm going to double hell because I know
because
I know this.
Okay. Well, I think we live in a weird world where Dr. Seuss is banned and Holocaust deniers get equal pay, and so we're all screwed.
What about Dr. Seuss being banned there?
The Biden education department took 6 of his books off the suggested reading list because of racial stereotyping.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I mean, I'm of two minds on that, to be honest.
If you're a child,
you don't know.
If you're a child, you don't know, and if you're an adult, you can figure it out. And if you're stupid, it doesn't make any difference what books we take off or put up because you're not going to look at them.
Yeah. I think what's weird about that, now thinking about it now, is that what I think that's really is all about is just to prevent children from asking awkward questions or saying things that would embarrass people. Right?
Well, it might
be. And in a certain sense, that kind of censorship, I can understand where it's coming from, definitely.
Yeah.
But in a certain sense, it also stops people from asking questions about race that people do need to be asking themselves.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
like questioning, wait, why did somebody do this way?
Yeah.
Well, and all the companies tend to offer, like Disney, whenever they censored, all they tended to offer was, well, this was just the context. And it's like, okay, you want to explain to me why there was that context there, white man?
Yes. I once did a job for Harvard, and I was essentially drawing very flat, stylized silhouettes of all of the people that are involved in creating a play that's put on stage, or an opera or a ballet put on stage. So you had the authors, you had the director, you had the dancers and the actors and the set designers and the lighting people. And, I tried to include as many different of the occupations that they wanted me to show. And they wanted the colors to be the crimson, Harvard crimson color, but they also wanted yellow and green and purple and then sort of black and white and gray. And it was 1.5 inches wide border going around the whole thing. And it was it had an Art Deco-y look, but very stylized. And they called me back, or they said, can you put some people of color in this? And I said, there's blue people, there's purple people, there's crimson people, and there's gray people. What color do you want me to add?
What color do you want? First of all, what type of person of color are you talking about? And second of all, what color do you think I should be coloring them?
Yeah, I said, these colors can represent any race.
Yeah, and it's sort of like,
it was
And it's
almost
sort of
like
like you're putting me on the spot here. You want me to include black people so that people think there are black people?
and then
Like,
what color is black going to be? Is it going to be crimson, yellow, blue, or green? What color is it going to be? You know, and these
maybe I can just label all of these pretty colors and say these are the white people, these is the Chinamen, these is the
yeah,
Negroes. You know,
yeah,
it's like they want.
it I for
I am using so
MIT
much offensive language right
for
now.
MIT I had to do a similar thing where they wanted a line of people that were representative of uh, as many or of clearly representative of Asian, Black, Hispanic, Latino, white. Um, if I'm forgetting any, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And
because if
then
they can't have them all actually attending the school, they can at least have them in their pictures, right?
and then old, young, male, and female. And so
Mm-hmm.
I came up with three people in a row, and these people were going to be an inch and a half tall on this Christmas card. And so their heads, do the math, an inch, 1/6 of an inch and a half tall is what? I'll tell you, it's a 1/4 inch. That's a pretty tiny head, right?
So you're not going to get the details.
You're not going to get the details. And unless I, make obvious cartoony squinty eyes and buck teeth or something. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
Um,
understand. Unless you go with like a stereotyped figure of all of
yeah,
these.
you're not going to know that that's what we're looking at. And so I mean, the skin color was all a sepia tone. And the other thing is they're going to have it sepia tone. They're standing in the snow. And I said, brown snow, is that what you really want? And that's what they really wanted. So I said, okay, whatever. So
I,
anyway, I
I
drew,
mean, they could have done worse.
I did three people standing next to each other, a woman, and on either side of the woman was an older man and a short older man and a younger, taller man. And they were in a row. Oh, we can't have an older man next to a younger woman because it was the Epstein scandal was happening then. And I thought,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what am I supposed to do? So I said, I tell you what you do. You tell me the order in which you want these people holding their hands, because I'm sure that there's a scandal. Any two, a young black woman and a young Asian man, there's probably a scandal there too somewhere in in a big university like MIT. So I finally put all of these together, and then they said, "Oh, we need to have someone in a wheelchair and someone with one leg." And I said,
So can
"How are
they
you going
both
to
be the
tell?
same person?
How are you going to tell that the person has one leg?" Oh, well, like this. And they showed me a picture of a downhill skier um, with a prosthetic leg. And I said, well, these people aren't skiing. They're at school. They're walking to school. Are you telling me that an intelligent MIT student with one leg is going to wear shorts to school in the wintertime just to show that he has one leg?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's like, okay, you want me to show you like explicitly the prosthetic leg. Like presumably he's gotten the brand new model and he wants to take it around
mhm.
for a cruise
For
to
for a
impress all
little show
the
and tell. Yeah, the people in
yeah.
the physics department made this fancy one out of metals that they haven't discovered yet. The other thing was
Or he just said, you know what? I feel like answering some awkward questions today.
the, the they made me make this one woman very slim and stylish. Can you make, they all look so dowdy. They're wearing winter coats. It's winter time. You know, what do you want me to do? Make someone look like this. And it was someone with a very tight coat with a fur trim, you know, so much for the vegetarians in the world, but fur trim. And then they had these
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
very
Today.
tight, very tight slacks. And um, and she's standing up, and they said, "That's great." And they said, "Oh, we need someone in a wheelchair now." And I said, "You tell me which person I'm going to put in a wheelchair. Just pick the one you want." And they said,
Which
"Pick that
person do I go to with the baseball bat?
the third one from the left." And that was the one that I just made so slim with her slim legs. So okay, now you don't even see her legs. So it's when you try to be too all inclusive and all encompassing and all whatever, you're going to leave someone out.
Yeah.
And when you make heads that are an inch tall, I mean a quarter of an inch tall, that have little features, you know you have to simplify and exaggerate. Okay, Bartholomew said, Mighty Mouse, the decision came from the Dr. Seuss Foundation and Enterprises.
Okay. See, because he did really do some caricatures, very questionable ones of the Japanese in particular.
Yeah, I mean
You
he did some very propagandistic cartoons during the war years, and
yeah, a lot of people.
so did Saul Steinberg, so did Looney Tunes, so did the Three Stooges. You know, so
Mhm.
it's and we do the same thing right this very goddamn minute with Muslims and people like that. So it's not like we're not able to throw any stones here, people.
Yeah, but then I guess part of the question is we can't take it as an affront on the author. I mean, there's nothing we can do to Theodore Geisel now, or
No.
Giesel, or however. No, I mean, he's dead. He doesn't care. But I think it's just a matter of, like, for me, of them saying we're not ready to grapple with this text. But then I guess I don't know what books they decided to get rid of is the thing.
Well,
Like, if they had said we're going to take the propagandistic pro-war cartoons showing Japanese people as the devil
uh,
off of our recommended reading list, I would be able to understand that.
yeah. Well, these were um, not that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the books, according to this post, the books are they're only 6. If I Ran the Zoo, Something's Funny Happening in Mulberry Street, Mr. McEllicott's Pool, on Beyond Zebra, Scrambled Eggs Super, and The Cat's Quizzler, none of which I know. So, but if it was the Seuss Foundation, according to Bartholomew, who decided not to publish the books anymore, you can't blame Biden for that,
No, I don't
or
know why.
Democrats or
Why?
any.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the government's decision. I see that. That's where I got confused. Right? If
Well,
it was the government telling them,
the government, I
yeah,
think, the government, I think, did take them off the suggested reading list or something. But
but that was at the recommendation of the company itself.
is that what you're saying? Is
I
that what?
mean, that sounded like it wasn't the situation, right? Let me check what Bartholomew said. Okay, yeah. Mighty Mouse basically pointed out that Dr. Seuss's grandson's publishing company decided no longer to publish those books, and apparently Dr. Seuss himself didn't really like them after doing them during the war. But yeah, I think the whole point here is learning to separate the text from the author and taking it on its own terms and questioning it rather than just outright censoring it, and as like I said before, just avoiding awkward questions rather than asking them.
So Bartholomew, on another note, how do you
On a more positive note,
how do you translate green eggs and ham into French? Viande, œuf et porc. Maybe. Did I say that? I did not. I did never say anything like that, Hodge. I don't use my brain. That might be true. I don't know what I use, but I don't know if it's into.
we're finally getting some decent weather around here. I don't know how it is over there.
Well, it's going to be 50 or something. It's very warm today. Let me just see. $46.
46. That ain't bad.
Oh,
Well, not bad for Boston.
well, I'm in Minnesota, so it's really not bad.
That's Minnesota.
And on Monday, it'll be 57.
Ooh.
So we can run around naked. I can waddle around naked, I should say. Well, Bartholomew, you're leaving. You're leaving us without the
warm comfort.
Okay, œuf vert et jambon. Okay, that's pretty good. Œuf vert et jambon. Je ne mange pas ici ou là. I don't eat it here or there. I don't eat it anywhere. Je ne mange pas toute la place. Doesn't rhyme quite the same way.
No. That's the trouble with translations.
1%, 2%. One fish, two, red fish, blue fish. Rouge, poisson. Or is it poisson rouge? 1%, 2%, poisson rouge, poisson bleu. 3%, 4%. One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, three fish, four fish, something more fish, I think. How does it go? You know your fish?
No, I read that book in about a fish's lifetime.
I see. Well,
I mean, I don't have the memory of a goldfish. Even I
that's
tried to say something clever, but I didn't really do that.
one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. That's the title, actually, of the book. Related articles: one dad, two dads, brown dad, blue dads.
Okay, then. Jumping right back into those types of questions, I guess.
I guess so.
Now what? Oh, it's just a calendar thing.
The pussy in the chapeau is all what Will Hodges knows in French. Well, that gets you far there, Will.
So I guess I could recount like some of my adventures, my continuing adventures with that one obnoxious student.
The one that says he never lived there. he never
Yeah,
left
the
it
one that said it wasn't his stuff in the yeah.
with
So
his finger,
you know,
fingerprints and
obviously,
IDs all over it. Yep.
yeah, with all his IDs and all his names everywhere. Well, I had to email him finally and get back to him and say, hey, if you don't come and get your stuff, we're just gonna get rid of it. His response at like yesterday was just throw it all away like last year.
I see.
And I said I look basically just put my palm to my face and then wrote him an email back saying, "Fine, understood. You're gonna be charged for this stuff, and we'll take it or we'll discard of it, right?"
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
now here's the thing: we have a clothes closet right up here at the college. And so I thought, well, instead of throwing all this stuff he left behind away, I'm going to do something at least slightly nice and let the people at the clothes closet have it so that somebody who needs it might have it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I had invited the fellow who runs it to come by today, and I would show him around, let him into the room to let him take a look at and see if there was anything he could use. Well, like the moment that we had finished agreeing upon that, the kid sends another email back today, and he says just and the message was exactly something like, well, exactly something like, was pretty much along the lines of throw it all away, lol, joke.
Okay.
And I don't know how to interpret that. So I had to send him another email saying, look, do you want me to throw away your stuff or not? Because I really want to fucking throw it away, kid.
And what did he respond to that?
I didn't say anything about that. I just said, I tried to be professional in the email. I said, you have to be clear with me. Do you want to retrieve your stuff? If you do, you have to let us know. Otherwise, we will discard of it.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen if he doesn't respond, saying, yes, I want to keep my stuff. Because if it's still there by the end of the semester, it's gone.
You should just take one of his things that looks like he might remember it the most.
And send him a video of it burning in a fire or what?
The chiffon house coat with a little sequiny collar, and put his driver's license on top of it and take a picture of it on top of the dumpster and put like, go to the commissary and look in the trash and find some pizza crust that wasn't eaten and sort of put that around it very carefully so you don't actually stain the chiffon, and say, okay, we've thrown it out. Thank you. Here's a close-up for your
We've
for
thrown
your
it out.
for your
That we have
records.
done.
Here's a close-up for your records, and then see what he
Exactly. No, honestly, I really do want to just get. I want to give this kid stuff away because he obviously doesn't know how to value it.
Yeah.
And that really ticks me off. I mean, aside from the fact that he's just sort of a pill in general.
No.
Statun koioni. So, is Mighty Mouse still with us? What's fresh in Denmark?
Mighty Mouse has to take a deep breath and get off the Dr. Seuss soapbox for the moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, Will. I mean, this kid obviously is, I mean, he obviously doesn't, he's obviously been spoiled. That's what I'll say. I don't have the words this evening.
Well, that's a good word.
I mean, the only thing he took from his room is for context.
Spoiled and entitled. Spoiled
Yeah.
by his parents and feels entitled that other people have to flush the toilet for him.
Yeah,
So.
Basically. But I mean, here's the thing. The one thing he did take was a smart TV.
I see.
Because I remember, like, this was the same kid who basically, okay, goodbye, Mighty Mouse. Ciao, ciao. But yeah,
at least something in his room last semester was smart.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. And of course, it had to be the boob tube.
Yes.
But no, I mean, it seems like just about everything else he just up and left. And we had been trying because he had done the exact same thing last semester. He had a room in another place and he left all of his stuff there, more stuff. Like, he left a whole, we actually have the television that he was using last year sitting around, along with his bed sheets and a bunch of clothes. My supervisor basically told me, I'm pretty sure we have at least $1,000 worth of stuff in there.
Well, that's good.
Yes, that's very good.
I think that's good. He sold it for drugs. No, I'm off to she's off the Dr. Seuss topic. That's what she meant.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go off downstairs to get my laundry out of the dryer. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Don't go away.
See, the thing is, I wouldn't even be surprised if he had sold it for drugs or something, because I mean, when I first encountered this young fellow, he was sitting in his room staring into space, and he wouldn't answer me with anything other than yes or no questions when I asked him things. So I don't think he's a person who is particularly interested in remaining sober for very long periods, we'll say. He's on the baseball team, though, or was. I have a feeling that the reason that he's not in school right now is because he was kicked off the baseball team. I would say it's ironic, of course, that he was an idiot with a smart TV, but frankly, I find that most idiots tend to have smart TVs. Idiots are people who want to show off. Uh, Now I'm just being bitter, though. I think my family has a smart TV, so, I went out to get wool and ended up fleeced. His phone's a dingin'.
I'm back.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome back to the Pierre Gustafson channel with your host, Pierre Gustafson.
Thank you, Russell. So nice.
For that introduction.
So nice. I almost thought I would read a little bit of Don Quixote today, but I didn't. My brother bought I'll show it to you, a couple of years ago. I don't know if he gave it to my dad for Christmas or something, but he found not a bad carving of Mr. Quixote.
Alonso Quijano. Don Quixote.
Or it might be Cervantes.
Let's see. I would say that's Don Quixote, because I don't think Cervantes would have such skinny arms or legs. And he has the vacant stare Don Quixote is often depicted with, and of course he's probably carrying a book of chivalric romances in his head.
And it's made in Spain.
Oh, bello. I see it.
Urro.
No, I actually discovered today while I was reading through it. I'm like 100 pages or so away from finishing the second part. So then I'll have read it for the second time in its completeness from not long from now.
Well, I should sit down in front of the window,
or rather for the fourth time,
hot sun on me, and see if I can catch up.
Well, it's not a race.
It isn't a race, no.
Not like all the people in Harvard's postcards.
They have races. I don't know.
Yeah, they are all of a race.
All
All of
over
one particular
one
race.
particular race, yes.
It's like I know I'm getting back onto that again, but just thinking about it, you know, you see a person colored red and green and orange and yellow and like bright yellow all over, all next to each other, and you say, which one's the black one? Which
Yeah.
one's the African American?
Oh, I hate that term, African American, because you don't know upon seeing a black man or woman walking toward you down the street whether they're from America or not. For one
Yeah,
thing.
I know, and then of course some people would say, well, actually, my family originally came from Barbados, or Jamaica. You know,
Or Norway or Germany
yeah, actually, my family was from Italy.
or
Let's
from
say.
Africa. I'm an African,
I
so
mean,
you,
it's weird, right? In order not to racialize a term or racialize a color, more or less.
and you end up being way less specific
Yeah.
and
And also just associating all black people with Africa.
and all black people with America. Even
Mm.
more awful to do because
I suppose. I mean, the only thing is like the equivalent for other countries is like Afro Italiano, for example. That's their term.
you know,
But you know,
the I remember having an argument with people in grad school about the word disabled, which was which was new back then to use to describe someone who's crippled, you know. And I I said, if my car is disabled, it does not run.
mm-hmm.
It's not functional. Someone who's lame or blind or deaf is it describes a loss of sight or hearing or movement, but that doesn't imply that they can't function. And disabled sounds like it's now they say otherwise abled, but um, but that's I mean, what's wrong with blind and deaf?
I think a lot of blind and deaf people would. I'm not going to make that joke. I think a lot of blind and deaf people would say that there's nothing wrong with it.
I would. I mean, it's descriptive, and
It describes a condition. It's one that they deal with every day. The only reason that it might perturb somebody is because we people who do see and hear, for example, just have associations of an inferiority with these people that we need to discard.
yeah, yeah.
And the way we
The
discard them isn't by, making certain that they can get into employment or that we're accommodating ourselves to them in any way. We're just changing the language we use around them, right?
yeah,
So instead of saying, I'm going to learn American Sign Language, or I'm going to put Braille on my restaurant menu, you say, oh, that person is just handicapped, or that person is handicapable, or whatever.
yeah. Well, it's yeah, handicap generally again sounds like you're non-functional, or your
Yeah.
functionality is not up to par. And there are certain things, of course,
It
that
basically
a
says
blind
like,
person
well,
can't do.
you're facing an obstacle that prevents you from dealing with society.
You know.
I need to stop coming up with. I keep coming up with deaf jokes, and
Well,
it's
you
not
came up,
good.
that's
I was
okay.
just saying, like, well, we're really talking. We're it's nice to. I was gonna say, it's nice to know that we people who are fully able and white are able to talk about these things. And then I was going to suggest, I wonder why we don't hear more from the deaf people.
Yes. I think what you should do, Russell, is with your great ability to draw in so many different styles, I think you should find some 50-year-old paper and do a Dr. Seuss book about this and have all of the bad jokes and that you're thinking of that you don't want to say now and just make them rhyme and then sell it on eBay for $1 million as a undiscovered Dr. Seuss masterpiece. What do you think
Yes,
about
and then the right wingers will get all behind it saying, well, Dr. Seuss doesn't need to be politically correct because he's Dr. Seuss.
it? But he's
And
not a
then they'll
real
say, it
doctor.
wasn't Dr. Seuss.
But he wasn't a real doctor. Oh God. Well,
Where did you get your PhD, Seuss?
yeah.
He actually made some very interesting artwork on his own outside of his book production.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with cats.
Oh.
I know a video on it. I'll have to link it to you, but it's really
Okay.
interesting.
I'll look forward to seeing it. Um, affects Technol.
Is that a ukulele there?
I've got 2 ukuleles in Minneapolis here that I can play. Mighty Mouse has
You don't
a
have to brag.
Mighty Mouse has a Muppet question. How do you make a
Mighty
puppet
Mouse.
without using
Okay.
a stereotype?
How do
How
you
do you
make a puppet without using like stereotypical features?
Well, I don't know. You'll have to ask Mighty Mouse to
Let me take a look here. I mean, is it like are we looking at like trying to make specifically like for example an African an African American a puppet depicting a black person or an Asian person or what have you? I mean, that would be the question. But other than that, honestly, the way that you go is just go Ernie and Bert style. They're yellow and orange.
But
And also gay.
one is clearly Italian.
What makes you which one is Italian? Is it Ernie or Bert?
Ernie. I have no idea. I'm just making a.
One of them is clearly one of them. What was the
WAP?
a wop? Was that the pejorative word for
Italian?
Huh. Yeah, I don't even understand the sense of that one.
Well, I'll look it up. I'll find out.
This is a really weird evening.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
But I sort of started it.
Now it's offensive. Oh, see, we can hear someone else say it.
We can hear someone say it really, really soothingly.
They added a little H, whop, in it.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a pejorative slur for Italians or people of Italian descent.
Right.
Guapo, meaning might be from guapo, roughly meaning dandy, dude, stud, ruffian, or swaggerer.
That doesn't make sense because guapo is Spanish.
Derived from the Spanish term guapo. There's two P's in Italian and one in Spanish.
Oh, I didn't realize that guapo was also an Italian phrase. Probably because, I mean, nobody from Italy really uses it.
Bernie and Ernie are a stereotype of a gay couple, some would say, but that's not everyone. I think stereotypes have to be almost understood by everyone. In Southern Italo-Romance varieties, guapo is pronounced roughly as huapo.
Guapo. Okay, that would make sense because the South takes a lot more influence from Spanish language than the North does.
And guapo would sound closer to WAHPP to American or Anglo ears.
Well, we learned something.
False etymologies are without passport, WOP, or without papers, implying that the Italian is an illegal immigrant. Another backronym is that WOP stands for working on pavement. As Italians as road builders.
See, I mean, we're getting right back onto this whole thing. People did not consider Italians or Polish people white.
$20.
Right?
Elon, let me know if you need somebody to go climb in that thing and push a button, turn a screw, etc. Yes, of course.
Elon is sending off another rocket live.
Do something, and then we think about,
good
Lord. But yeah, we have.
They're sending.
I really don't know about that.
No. Yeah, I know Tinky Wink.
Tinky Winky.
Ooh, yeah. Have you talked anymore with Leonardo?
No, I've been having trouble getting a hold of him recently. I don't know what's up, whether he's just been busy with his work or if something terrible has happened. I don't know.
Well, I hope nothing terrible has happened.
I hope nothing terrible has happened either. But I mean, I guess I'll have to try messaging him again. The last time I sent him a message was just letting him know that we were on stream at one point, but
yeah, he
I never got it.
he told me to tell him when I was going to be on stream, and then he couldn't show up. But he seemed
Yeah,
to
that's the tough thing with the streams. At least if we want to have the foreigners on, then
remember.
It's tough on them because they're dealing with all their different hours, and the window's open, but it's starting to. I'm losing my sunlight, so I might as well close the blinds. Turn on the actual electrical lights. Yeah, cool.
Oh, nice. Good for you, Mighty Mouse.
What happened?
During the Tinky Wink fracas that happened with the, what were they called? What was that cartoon called?
I'm not certain. I've never heard of Tinky Wink.
Tinky, there were four little creatures that.
It's not Teletubbies, is it?
Teletubbies, yeah. Tinky Wink was the Teletubby.
Okay.
Was the purple one with the triangular antenna head thing, and that people thought that was pro-gay. And Mighty Mouse said she worked at a newspaper during the Tinky Wink stuff, and they printed it all in purple for solidarity.
I like the possibility that we might call it the Tinky Wink scandals.
Not to be confused with the Twinkie scandals.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? The Twinkie defense?
Yeah, that was filled with all sorts of trouble.
Yes. I had too many Twinkies. That's why I killed the gay mayor of San Francisco. Ugh.
But of course, there were people that just believed like that whole show was nothing but homosexual propaganda somehow, or demonic. And a certain hard to blame them.
It would be fun if I was like strapped in a chair so I couldn't actually do any harm and been given a QAnon pill or something. Like what is it? I'd like to like see the world for maybe 3 hours the way they do and remember it. And when I wake up from my trance, I'll say, okay, I understand I understand this is what they see and this is what they think.
Right.
Because I don't understand how they come up with any of this shit.
Well, you just have to pretend for
Harvey
a few
Milk, yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
that?
I was answering Mighty Mouse. Harvey Milk. The Twinkie scandal was.
Oh.
You remember that, Russell?
No.
Before your time. A guy crawled in, a worker in California, state something, some civil servant, was pissed off at the government that fired him or whatever the problem was, and he snuck in through a window with a gun and shot Harvey Milk and the mayor, I think, and killed them. And then among the defense lawyers' defense strategy was saying that he ate too many Twinkies. So it was, and Twinkies somehow, eating too many Twinkies caused him to do such a thing. So it is referred to as the Twinkie defense. I will just read it to you here. Twinkie defense is a derisive label for an improbable legal defense. It is not recognized as a legal defense, blah, blah, blah. It was coined by the reporters during the coverage of the trial of defendant Dan White for the murders of San Francisco City Supervisor Harvey Milk and Major George Moscone. And so they said it caused White's actions. The consumption was systematic of his underlying depression.
Okay, and so basically they were claiming that his underlying depression
was systematic of him eating Twinkies, and that caused him to decide to kill the people that fired him or whatever.
Okay, so maybe they tried to reason out that, well, he just ate so many Twinkies that day, and that's evidence that he was extremely depressed.
Yeah.
That is the only rational thing in my mind that I could conjure up.
He began consuming junk food and Coca-Cola. But the jurors found that White was incapable of the premeditation required for a murder. But he did climb through a window rather than going through the entrance where they had X-ray things, that would find the gun on him. So he went through a window, and his defense for that is that we often did that. That was a shortcut to go into the building through the window. So that suggests to me that he knew that
this was premeditated.
Anyway, he only got 5 years, and that caused many of the gay, I'm not going to say all, but imagine there might have been some gay person that didn't care, but many of the gay people in California to just get very upset. Anyway, he was murdered while he was in, or did he kill himself? Dan White. Less than 2 years after his release, he returned to San Francisco, and he committed suicide. Why he couldn't have committed suicide before he killed those other people, I don't know. He just didn't have enough Twinkies, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe the window just wasn't open on the day he committed suicide.
Yeah, he was ready to go back in. Oh, God damn it.
Window shut. Back in, but it was locked.
Might as well. I've got a gun loaded with bullets. No, he killed himself with carbon monoxide. So, turned on the Volkswagen and shut the garage door. Ate a Twinkie.
Ate a Twinkie. Waited for the gas to take him.
Yes.
That's the end of our what was it? That's the end of our Dashiell novel, I think was his name, wasn't it? Or was it Hammett or something like that?
Dashiell Hammett, yeah.
Dashiell Hammett, yeah. That's the end of our Dashiell Hammett novel. He bit into a Twinkie slowly. It would all be over soon.
No, it has to end with something a little more Hammett-like. That dame will be on her own. Period. End. That title that dizzy dame's on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And glad of it. That dizzy dame's no longer. See, now we're getting it too complicated. No, you did a good job. I made it worse.
Nevermore would he see, nevermore would he see that hostess.
That
That hostess.
full figured hostess with the yes, the paintbrush.
I've never seen such a long one.
Well, Dad got that in Paris for me. Let me show it to Russell here.
Just you should start
Yes,
from the
here,
screen.
Russell. My dad was in Paris and got me this paintbrush, but you have to.
I could use a paintbrush like that.
Yeah, it's this. It's about
3 feet long.
3 feet long, so you can stand back and.
No, actually, that would really come in handy.
Well, you could easily make one, probably.
Just tape it to something.
Tape it to a broomstick. No, but it's a lovely. He got me two, and my little brother, broke the other one using it to do sword fighting. So.
Well, then.
Here's a game you can play with Russell over the interweb. I don't know how it works, but
Dotsy.
$2.50 at Goodwill today.
Dotsy, a game of chance and choices. It looks sort of like
Kind of like
dominoes and Yahtzee put together. Dotsy. Boggle and dominoes. Love Child makes Dotsy.
I'm sure it's a flop.
Well, I don't see any awards that it got. Toy safety tested and approved.
Yeah, I was just about to say that game sounds torturous. Play it sometime though.
Well, it might be fun.
Interesting to make your own.
Make your own rules. I did see a game, Mighty Mouse, if you're there. I did see a game advertised on Instagram, and it was essentially about, it sounded kind of complicated, but it sounded like it might be kind of interesting. And it was, it's called Dialect. And evidently the players each build their own language by using these hints or these cards, and then you build a story in the dialect that you're designing. So it's Dialect. Do you know the game?
I've never heard of it, but it sounds kind of up my alley.
Yeah. Dialect, a game about language and how it dies. How's that for rather than a game of chance and choice, a game of language and how it dies. $29.
What?
Dialect is a game about an isolated community, their language, and what it means for that language to be lost. In this game, you'll tell the story of isolation by building their language. Well, this sounds like a laugh riot. Sounds like it's a lot of fun. New words will come from the fundamental aspects of the community, who they are, what they believe in, and how they respond to a changing world. Players take away both the story they've told and the dialect they've built together. Includes a hardcover book, deck of language generating cards, 4 core play sets, 11 contributed playsets by renowned game designers, linguists, and activists. This sounds really yes.
This
She
sounds
wants to play that at her dinner party with Chomsky, Noam Chomsky.
definitely.
The story game for 3 to 5 players in 3 to 4 hours. So better be
So it takes a little bit of time.
really chewy meat you're serving at the dinner party there. The Gloss Poet edition includes everything from the standard edition and a one of a kind cloth bag to keep the game and book and cards. Just
well.
bite me.
But even though the game might be hard, Chomsky would hold that we have an inherent capability to produce the conditions that it should be carried out.
Well, he might.
That's
I'm looking at
linguist.
I'm looking at images of this game to see if they have pictures of any of the cards to make it actually. What is lost when a language dies? They don't really show what the cards look like. There's a game I bought at Goodwill that I thought looked like it would be fun. The cards themselves it was essentially a card game. And the cards had a rectangle, it had a square in the middle of the card. And the top half of the square was one color and the bottom half was another color. And each of the 100 cards maybe, were a different color combination of things. Then it also had letters of the alphabet and letters associated with an actual deck of cards, and then Roman numerals or some other thing. And you could play sort of any kind of poker hand or gin rummy hand or Scrabble word. You could do anything you wanted with these cards. And I thought, this is the dumbest thing, because there was no restrictions, there weren't
like a
enough.
universal word game piece.
Universal word game, checkers, chess. It's like if you just took checkers and chess and mixed them up, it would be a disaster. You couldn't play either game. If
Maybe
you could
the intention
use
is not that. Do you think the intention is not so much that you play all of these games at once, but that you are able to use these cards in order to play every game there is?
It was sort of, if you're smart enough, you should be able to figure out a way to use all of the cards that you were dealt in one grand slam thing by coming up with the weirdest equation that you could use to make it work. It seemed like it was way too unfun. Like this dialect game sounds really, really unfun to me.
I feel like it could get fun though if you either really got into it and really practiced it and worked with it, or if you got drunk and did it.
I'd rather just do the latter.
Yeah. Now, that online they have you know of 3D chess, right?
Yeah.
Well, they have like a game online that I discovered I can't remember when. Over the summer, I think it was. It was 4D chess with time travel.
God,
so it's amazing.
Horrible.
Like, the idea is that you can go. You have all of those planes that you can go through, and then also, this is as best as I can remember and understand. Your goal is basically you have the king in several dimensions.
Yeah.
And so if somebody checkmates your king, you can actually, there is a way to send one of their pieces back in time, not to stop the king from being checkmated, but to create another dimension in which the king was never checkmated. So essentially, the idea for every player is to make sure that there are no situations in which there is a reality where the king could possibly be checkmated.
So that, yes, so the king, no matter what square he is on or he could conceivably be on, he would be checkmated.
Yeah, I mean, that's my very low level understanding of it. I'd have to watch the video.
I think it has to be a little higher level than that. Parabola, that was the name of that card game. Let me just read what it says about that. I remember now. Parabola. I really liked the way the game looked because it had, no, that's not it, images. There is a card game called Parabola that actually, where you make parabolas. This is not it. Was it Parabola? I think it was Parabola. It was really cool. I mean, it looked like it would really be fun, but it was very weird. My brother got me a game that I think I have in Boston, and it's kind of like dominoes, but it's like Rubik's Cube. If you took Rubik's Cube and Winsor Newton paint set, watercolor paint set, and dominoes and made a game that looked like that, that's what it would be. They had three, a plastic long, it was 3 times longer than it was wide, 3 squares next to each other, and each square were different colors, or they could be all yellow or all 2 yellows and a blue, or yellow, blue, red, or whatever. But they looked like they were indented down. They looked like the little watercolor paint refills you'd buy from Winsor Newton. You know, there was an indentation with this. It looked like you could make watercolors out of them, and somehow you could connect these together to make a domino-like thing. It looked a lot better than it actually was to play. And I have a feeling that this Dotsy game and that Parabola game and
they would just be way too complex. Hello? I think he got kicked off. I'm still on, though. Now I'm the master of this stream. So, Jolyn, I am right now. Hello, Pierre. Did your phone die or something? In any case, right now I am sewing the body for a hand puppet. It's a very simple one. But yeah, that's what I figured. The battery died. I think the link is up somewhere above in the chat. Yeah, I am flying solo. But like I said, I'm the master of the stream now, so I am everybody's substitute Pierre Gustafson. So that means that this is the worst day of your lives. But eventually, this will become a puppet. I've got it sort of sewn together. You can see how it's basically in the shape of my hand. Well, thank you, Jolene. Oh dear, we're getting into the Puppet Master series of films, I fear. But what I'm thinking for this is I really want to create a lot of these very simple ones. And then I'm going to essentially no homework. Oh, wait. Nope, I don't understand the no homework reference. But essentially I want to create a bunch of simple ones like these and then sew them all onto a suit so that I can wear a suit where essentially I could put my hand anywhere on this suit and have a different hand puppet for me. It's going to be needlessly complex and decadent. I really should be doing something productive right now. The problem, of course, is that I don't think I'm going to get it done in time to get it into like this Best of West Virginia show.
I'm back.
We got Pierre back. We got Pierre back.
I'm going to try to do this though. Just a minute. Let's see if I can invite my. I'll go move over to my phone here.
What we need to do one day is we need to just like get it set up so that every time you have to leave the stream, there's somebody else that's on the stream and they just take over.
Yes.
Well, perpetual stream.
Yes. Relay. Stream relay.
Stream relay.
There. There's Pierre and Little Pierre. There's Pierre and Little Pierre. Now there's just Pierre.
And now
there's Little Pierre.
But I was. Did he get kicked off again? Well, good lord. I don't know what to tell y'all, guys. Apparently, this just isn't Pierre's evening. It's my evening because it's my stream now. Let's see what's going on in the chat then. No, it's days like this I sometimes wish I had a sewing machine. But then I imagine if I had a sewing machine, I would wish that I had never bought a damn sewing machine because it'd just take up a bunch of space and I already had all these needles that I bought, you know? Plus, I would probably just end up hurting myself. He said as if he didn't hurt himself with needles already.
I'm back. Let's see if I can do this again.
See, you know, the irony, I'm just continuing, if I can, my chat. my dialogue with Jolynn. Yes, exactly. Needles give you so much more control. Like that's the main thing I fear about with a sewing machine. Like if I'm specifically sewing for puppets, then I am stuck to one schema, right? I can't change the plan. Oh, there, here. I can hear because I well, I okay. There's little.
Here I am. Here.
Okay, so I was just discussing the fact that I lack a sewing machine. Of two minds of having one, because I know that working specifically making puppets, having a sewing machine wouldn't allow me the ability to just change to change on a whim, right? I have to go by the way the sewing machine wants to go, and that would be terrible. And I'd have to come up with patterns for everything that I do.
There. Can you hear me, Russell?
Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
Yes. No, my mom, she actually bought a sewing machine a long while ago. She said it was on discount, and it's like a $500 really fancy sewing machine, right? Has like computerized. And she said, well, it'll be great because I want to do some sewing and I know you could use it too sometimes. And I thought, wow, that actually does sound cool. It might be good for, sewing together things that are very difficult to sew by hand, denim or things like that. Well, she goes and she tries it out. First day, breaks it. Never, well, there he goes again on his own. Yeah. No, but then it breaks on the first day, or it seems to have been broken. She never bothered to call the maintenance people or anything. She tried to figure it out on her own, and now it's just sort of, it's lying around the house. It's a sad situation because, frankly, if she doesn't start using it or figure out how to use it, I'll take it over here and I'll start using it. Lord knows I could use it. If it's free, it's free. I'm taking it. That's my story time for this evening. The only trouble, of course, with hand sewing things is that I just can't get things out quite as quickly as I'd like. Like I started this maybe an hour and a half ago, and I'm not even completely done with it yet. I'm actually going to have to sign off here in a few minutes because if I have not signed off, then nobody's going to make me dinner this evening. Yeah. The threading of the machine is the difficult part. Like in my old school, they actually had a machine like that. They had a machine. I saw the process for threading it, and I immediately said to myself, I'm going to fuck this up and break their machine. You just couldn't figure out the process for knitting. See, I'd like to learn how to knit, but I don't know how useful it would be, at least to my purposes, which would be to make art out of it.
Hello.
He's back.
I'm gonna I'm gonna stop the stream because I'm on 1% and then I run out of battery. So I'm gonna stop it now. I'll start a new one. Bye.